How does he sound?
Hello, my disgusting and not at all wonderful acquaintances. It's me, Bizarlo. Family-friendly gaming influencer famous for such videos as Paper Mario is doing just fine, a very short review of Zelda for Wii U, and I have embarrassing feelings for the eel from Mario 64. I come to you today to do something that I, the opposite of Arlo, is seldom known to do. Talk about Pikmin. For you see, Pikmin 3 has recently released again, and sales-wise, things aren't looking too good
Excuse me, hi. Can you shut up, please? Look at the length of this video. You're not keeping up this bit the whole time. This is my channel, bub. I'm gonna do the talking about Pikmin, okay?
I'll be back before the Patreon shout-out.
I'll try to be brief. Pikmin, despite being one of Nintendo's more iconic franchises, doesn't have a history of selling very well. Many fans and Pikmin apologists will chalk it up to being at the wrong place at the wrong time, the first two games being on GameCube, which didn't sell well, the third game getting delayed all the way to the Wii U that didn't sell well, and the 3DS getting a sort of spin-off that nobody really asked for. But now fans, haters, and ambivalents alike all seem to be under the impression that Pikmin 3 Deluxe's poor sales on the Switch, poor initial sales anyway, is an indicator that the franchise may cease to be a priority for Nintendo, and Pikmin 4, if it ever really was in development, will be shut down, and the franchise will go nowhere, and die forever in a horrible death. I, for one, think this is terribly sensationalist. Even if the Pikmin games don't sell all that well, I'm sure that Pikmin plushies and shorts and all the other sort of things do well enough for Nintendo, at least brand-wise, that there really isn't much justification for pulling the plug on the entire franchise. Not to mention that many Nintendo higher-ups, most notably Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of Donkey Kong, Mario, and Zelda, loves the Pikmin franchise. In fact, the several instances in 2015 and beyond whereby Miyamoto is quoted as saying that Pikmin 4 is in active development live in infamy on the internet to this day. I think the initial quote before Hey Pikmin was revealed was something along the lines that the game was very close to completion or near completion, but then later on, Miyamoto did clarify that Hey Pikmin was in fact not the Pikmin 4 he was talking about, and later on, he said something like Pikmin teams are always working on the next game, and later on, he said something like PR doesn't want me to talk about Pikmin anymore. Oh, Miyamoto, you crazy old man. How could we not love you? Maybe because you're holding the Paper Mario franchise back? But then again, maybe you're not, and it's someone else. Well, you get points off for planting that seed, but, I mean, come on, I can't stay mad at you. Look at that smile! Give us F-Zero, you bastard. Regardless, I digress. I do believe that Pikmin 4 is in development. I think that because the franchise doesn't sell all that well, but Nintendo is still passionate about it, they take their dear sweet time testing and innovating and trying new things with the series, and waiting until they hit something really neat and new before they release it. I mean, that's almost certainly the case with Pikmin 3 initially, right? It was a plan for the Wii, but then when it came out on the Wii U, there were some visuals in there that made you say, yeah, okay, I don't know if the Wii could have done this. Plus, the gamepad had a lot of great uses too. The game works fine without it on the Switch, but no, I don't think Pikmin's going anywhere. And what's more, Pikmin is not the exception to the supposed rule that sales are the end-all be-all as to whether or not a franchise will have any future past its most recent release. Nintendo in particular is a strange company. Their third most best-selling franchise, as of August 2019 anyway, is the Wii franchise, quote-unquote. The games with Wii branding on them. Wii Sports, Wii Play, Wii Music, Wii Fit, etc., etc. That franchise, that brand, is their third highest in sales. Nintendogs is somewhere in the top 10 too, I believe. Tomodachi Life is surprisingly higher than the likes of Kid Icarus, Star Fox, F-Zero, etc. And yet, Nintendo hasn't iterated on any of these franchises in a long time. And with the Wii branding in particular, the Switch, while it does have Mii's, delegates them somewhere in the bowels of the options menu. And the re-release of Mario Galaxy doesn't have Mii heads in it anymore, and games like 1-2 Switch and Clubhouse Games 51 Greatest Hits or whatever it's called have no Mii integration whatsoever. It feels like Nintendo is moving away from the Wii branding. and some could say that maybe it's because the games have only declined in sales since, but like, they understand how nostalgia works. Same thing with Nintendo. People have been saying since forever, especially when Nintendo got into making mobile games, that they really should just make a new Nintendogs. But they haven't. And do you know why? Because if they are making one, they're taking their dear sweet time to make it as gosh darn good as they can, or they're just not making it at all because it's not a priority because they have their efforts focused on something new instead. Now I grant you this, not everything Nintendo puts out there is wholly original. New Super Mario Bros., the Pokemon games, although that's technically Game Freak or whatever. Nintendo, especially when it comes to the likes of Mario and Mario spin-offs, don't always exactly strive for innovation. But that's only because they know that Mario is such a cash cow, I'm sure. They don't make decisions based on fan outcry or sales numbers. I don't know exactly how Nintendo makes their business decisions, and while I do think that sales numbers would be a good indicator, it's not consistent enough to say for sure, especially not in the case of Pikmin. I mean, I don't understand why people want Pikmin in particular to fail so badly. I guess they started out by manufacturing some outrage that they were taking the Wii U version off the Wii U eShop for $20, you know, the Nintendo Select version. But then they put it back up again, so they've got no reason to be mad. And also, I don't think anybody went and bought themselves a Wii U so that they can download Pikmin 3 for $20. And I think that most people who have Wii U's either have it or know they don't want it. Pikmin is something of a niche franchise. That's just the way it is. It's not gonna sell gangbusters. So in conclusion, the Pikmin franchise will be fine. Even if Pikmin 3 Deluxe doesn't sell well, it's really just par for the course. I think it's a shame. I would have liked to see the Pikmin franchise gain some new life and become a real big hitter, but that's simply not the case, and I don't think Pikmin is going anywhere anytime soon. I, for one, still weep for F-Zero and Custom Robo, and I have my worries about the future of the ARMS series too. But Pikmin? Nah. Pikmin's good. Pikmin is safe. And same goes for Metroid. All the Metroid fans saying that the series doesn't sell that well, and how worried they are for the future, despite the fact that they know that they have a game in development, and the last game they got was in 2017. And the game before that was in 2015, and the game before that was in like 2011 or 12. It sells just fine, and Nintendo doesn't leave it to die, just because it didn't get a game on the Wii U. My gosh, Metroid fans, so greedy. They want it to be like Zelda and Mario so bad, but it just isn't, and they can't stand that. Star Fox sells way worse. Metroid has a lifetime sales of something like 15 million, Star Fox is something like 4 million. Gee whiz. Okay, I kind of went off on a tangent there. In conclusion, Pikmin is gonna do just fine. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever YouTubers are supposed to say really helps out my channel. Until next time, I will see you the next time I see you. Oh wait, the Patreon shout out! If you'd like to support my endeavors and receive benefits that range from getting your names in the credit of my videos to being immortalized in your very own Talking Soxona, then consider pledging to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or as much as 10, which really isn't all that much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you the next time I see you.
Typically, Arlo ends his videos by doing a funny little bit. He looks at an MS Paint clip of a shooting star or something. But that would take too much editing. And I don't put care into my videos because I'm the opposite of Arlo.